Prior to entering this course, public speaking was something that I didn't really ever want to think about. The thought of getting in front of a mass amount of people and having all of their attention on me was terrifying. My previous idea of giving speeches was that you planned out on paper what you were going to say and just read the speech word for word. The reasoning for this idea spawned from a fear of public speaking. By doing this, I could finish as fast as I could. Once I started taking this course, all of the ineffective solutions I had to get around my fear would soon begin to change. While recording my very first speech for this course, I found a new method that is currently helping me overcome my fear and will be useful in future situations. Once I found this new method and began using it in current situations, I began to notice changes at school. Not only have my grades improved, but I feel a new self-confidence when publicly speaking. This class lived up to my expectations. It helped me become a better public speaker and also an all-around better observer. I'm glad I took this class because it made me feel more comfortable, helped me come out of my shell, and also helped me overcome my fear of public speaking. I noticed at a very young age that I had developed a fear of public speaking. The first time I noticed this was on Veterans Day when I was in second grade. I had to read a description about my grandfather and the work he was in. I was to speak on stage in front of 200 people. As I waited for my turn to speak, I noticed that my hands began to shake and my breathing quickened. As I approached the podium, I became dizzy, and all I can remember after that was that my voice was shaking as I read from the paper and I had read about my grandfather. After this situation, I became aware of my intense fear of public speaking, and I thought I was the only one. As time went on, I realized that I was not the only one that carried this burden, but some of my friends as well. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 74% of people suffer from speech anxiety. So as you can see, I found out that the majority of people have this phobia. Because of this, my classroom discussions suffered. I would try my hardest not to be called on in class so I wouldn't have to talk in front of everybody. My grades began to decline due to this, but as long as I didn't speak in front of everybody, I was fine with it. This way of acting followed me to college, and I continued to do the same patterns. Once I started this public speaking class, I found out ways that I could overcome my fear. With the new techniques I learned and my new mindset on public speaking, I began to be not so shy and fearful of speaking to groups of people. Once I began recording my first speech assignment for this class, I found out a new technique that is currently helping me get over my fear of public speaking. As I was recording, I realized that I didn't have any of the symptoms I usually had while speaking in front of everybody. After thinking of a reason why this happened, I came to the conclusion that it was because I was by myself speaking and not actually in front of people that would be viewing it. I figured out that if I take this situation and apply it to everyday life, that it may help me and overcome my fear. The next day, I was at school and I was in class and I participated in classroom discussion. As I started speaking, I imagined that I was by myself and no one was around me, and it worked. I didn't get dizzy and my hands didn't shake. I realized that this was the key to my success over winning the battle of overcoming my phobia. I continued to do this and noticed that I was beginning to improve in school. I also realized that if I am well prepared before I speak, I have absolutely nothing to be worried about. Before this class, I never spoke that much to people because I always thought that what I had wasn't good enough. So I began to prepare myself before I would speak. By doing this, I knew that what I was about to say was perfect. With all of these techniques, I learned I was no longer nervous to speak in front of people. With the burden of trying to avoid speaking to crowds lifted, I would begin to apply what I have learned to other parts of my life. This class taught me to do a lot of things This class taught me a lot of things I can do to be successful in school. While looking up information for my informative speech, I found out that the more you research a topic, the more you will know about it. This also makes it easier to write papers and the topics because you know more about what you are talking about. I learned how to do extensive research on both very specific and broad topics while taking this class. I can also put the technique that I use to overcome my fear of public speaking in the future job interviews, even though it is just one-on-one communication. It's still frightening me to speak to another person. If I pretend I am by myself when speaking to a potential employer, it will help me feel more relaxed and make me look as if I have extreme self-confidence. This class has taught me to be a better public speaker, but more importantly, this class helped me get over my fear of public speaking. From this course, I have gained quite a few skills that will be beneficial to not only me in college, but also in everyday life. Ever since I was little, I was always really nervous and hesitant when it came to public speaking. Since taking this class, I have only seen positive results, and I feel comfortable when speaking in front of groups and more confident in my speech writing abilities. Recording speeches in front of a webcam helps me realize I can just imagine that it is only me talking to myself, rather than to a group of individuals. Rehearsing and repeating my speech lines showed me that practice really does make perfect, and that in the end you will have no worries when it comes to time to your presentation because you already know your material by heart. I used to rush through the speeches just so I could get them over with. Since taking this class, I learned that your time and making a nice, efficient speech is the way to go. I learned how to take notes and how to research some of the most specific to the most broadest of subjects. I feel this will benefit my life throughout. Learning how to research and acquire knowledge will definitely help me throughout my college experience, and my public speaking skills will be nothing short of amazing. If I were to recommend any course that would benefit your life, I would recommend this course. I have seen nothing but positive results since attending this class.